Pradeep Nayak, CEO of Fuel India. I welcome you all to another session to the wonderful world of events that we are a part of. In my previous session, I started speaking about staging of events, and I did cover a few elements of staging of events. Today, we're going to continue that, and we're going to completely close on staging of events. And I will also, towards the end of this video, introduce you something which is very exciting. So wait till the end. In the meantime, allow me to share a presentation. I'll just do a quick recap on what we did in our previous session. In our previous session, we spoke about staging events. We also spoke about different elements briefly. So we spoke about theming and event design. We spoke about venue and site selection, audience and guest seating, and stage. So these are the four elements of staging of events that we covered in our previous session. I'd like to start with power, light, and sound today. I've added two more elements to power, light, and sound so that you get more clarity in what happens at the stage area. So I've added AV and special effects also in this topic or in this element. As I mentioned in my previous session, stage plays a very integral part of an event. That's where the entire audience is focused, where the experience of an audience is gazed or mapped. Stage is the area where each and everybody would look up to. That's the heart of the event, where all the decor and elements would culminate to give a special effect or an experience the customer or the audience would have. To enhance this experience, it is formed by sound, light, AV, and special effects. In terms of lighting, I'm sure you will have a detailed chapter on lighting under the equipments. But to just give a brief about lighting, it's the different types of lighting. Could be strobe, or it could be beam lights, it could be laser lights, it could be effect lights, it could be park cans, power LEDs, and many such lights that are used to enhance the look of the stage and also to highlight the performers on stage or the performance on stage. At the same time, the right kind of sound is equally important for the audience to enjoy. If it's a musical show, the right kind of sound plays a very, very important role. It could be of any company, it could be of any brand, but having the right sound makes a lot of difference because event is a sensorial experience. I would say one is what you're seeing, one is what you're hearing, and so there are two senses that are intrigued at that location, and both have to play a very, very important role. Hence, the light and the sound play a very important role. The other two elements is AV and special effects. Under AV, we are using a lot of LED walls these days, LED displays, I would rather say. And something that has caught up in terms of the trend is the projection mapping. So these are the display effects that create the background. These are something which, like previously people used to use flex or fabric cloth as backdrops, but now people are using LED walls or LED displays, or could be projection mapping, just to make your background more dynamic, more appealing, the entire look and feel to change, to give the experience of what people expect out of the stage or out of the event. And what happens in our previous versions of what we had backdrop and all is that we just could communicate one message, but now with dynamic backgrounds, that is LED walls or LED display, or could be projection mapping, we can run enormous amount of content, enormous amount of video, and anything that we can create. And as per theme, whatever we create, we don't have to create fixed structures in terms of backdrop. With the effect of with the use of projection mapping, we can showcase that theme or effects in the projection mapping or the AV displays or the LED displays. I'll just quickly show you some images which will help you understand what I'm trying to explain in terms of light, sound, and AV special effects. The first image that you see is purely the magic of different lights that is been fixed at the truss, on the ceiling truss. So there are different lights which is creating that magic for the performer or the artist. The second image, there are a few spotlights or park ends or the power LEDs that have been used. But at the same time, if you look at the backdrop, that is where the projection mapping is going on. So if you turn off the projection mapping, you will just see a white backdrop into a structure. But if you turn on the projection mapping, this is what it looks like. and you can create enormous amount of artworks in that. It is purely the work of the visualizer, or we call as the visual jockey. These are the people or the designers, digital designers, who create such magnificent artworks. Just below that, what we see is an amalgamation of all three that I spoke about. Is LED wall display that has been done. Again, that is also mapped, because LED displays, we just can't run it basic. We need it to be mapped so as to synchronize with the background or the artwork that we're talking about. You can see an array of line array that we call of sound that is hanging from the truss. We can see the huge amount of lighting that is fixed around the LED trusses and also on the structure. This is an evening event. I think it's a concert that we're looking at. So these are three different types of event. So lightings will play a very, very important role in terms of the kind of event. If it is a theatrical performance, the profile lights will be used. If it is a concert, or if it is a, so different lights are used for different purposes, to showcase, to highlight the artist, to highlight the ambience of the stage, to to highlight the next performances, anything. So lights play a very, very important role. There are light engineers and sound engineers who make such events possible. Next, we are talking about catering. So whenever we hear about this word called catering, we talk about, oh, this is the regular food serving thing. No, catering today has evolved into something more experiential. So yes, what you're thinking is partially right. Yes, and the food that is getting served at our weddings or at our functions comes under catering. But as events have evolved, as performances have evolved, as experiences have evolved, catering has evolved tenfold. Today, catering has gone to that level where people are designing the experience of the person, the way they're going to eat during the time of event. So there were programs like, the wedding is the easiest example. So previously during weddings, what used to happen is that you have a reception, then you have a buffet counter, people go pick up food and eat, or they used to have that sit down and have dinner or lunch where the food is served on the table. Today, it has gone to a level of they are creating experiences on that table. They are creating experiences on the buffet counter. So the catering team or the catering design team curates. They will curate as per the taste buds. They curate as per the theme. So how catering kind of goes hand in hand with theming and event design is that, for example, if I'm talking about the theme is about Greece, so then the catering team or the chef will look into the cuisine that is more predominantly used in that part, how they are served, the cutleries that has been used, and also the presentation could be using the elements that would amplify the look and feel of Greece. So catering also plays a very important role in staging of events. From your birthday parties to weddings to conference to experiential events to festivals to anything. So, and most important, what happens is that through all the events that we attend, other than the professional events, I'm talking about conference or exhibition, where the major takeaway is the knowledge that we're going to do. But other events, the social events, like especially like weddings, birthday parties, one of the main important component that forms catering is because what we remember, other than meeting our friends and relatives, is the food that we tasted there and the experience. So today, people are focusing more on experiential food than creating a large amount of food. That instead of having 40 different varieties, they will keep 15 varieties, but at 15 will be custom created. People are looking at live counters at continental food. So this is also become a major trend. I'll just show you a quick image. Of the first image that you see is of a sit down dinner or lunch setup, where if you see the way the cutleries have been placed, the chairs that have been done, the flower that has been placed. So this event where it used to happen traditionally like decades ago in our traditional weddings, but now it has gone to a next level into experience. On the right hand side, the image that you see is of a bar counter. Yes, you heard it right. The bar counters also have gone experiential, from piling up the entire bar counter to people throwing up glasses and mixing cocktails. And even doing some wine tasting sessions and etc. So from the programs or the events have become more experiential in nature today. The third image that you see at the bottom is about how the presentation of a buffet in terms of desserts have been done. On the right hand side also is the similar kind of photograph. So today it is all about presentation, the look and feel, the experience, and how best you can give the best taste, but limited, but at the same time more experiential. So catering plays a very, very important role in staging of it. Next, we're talking about performers and crew. So the first, performers and crew. The first thing I'll talk about is performers. Who are performers? Performers could be anybody from A.R. Rahman to Arijit Singh to Terence team or Shamak Davar dance team. Could be anybody, a Kathak performing team or a Bharatanatyam performing team. It could be an UV act, it could be NJ5, anybody. So performers also play a very important role in live events, in social events. Okay. So now the performer could be when we're handling or when we're dealing with performer, there are many aspects that we have to take care. The first aspect that we're looking at is the contact. So whenever we sign up with a performer, could be an artist, could be a dance crew, or anybody that we sign up with, we will first finalize as to who is the point of contact that we'll be talking about our experience that we want, about the briefing that we want to give, about what is the kind of performance that we're looking at. So how it works is that when we plan and design an event, we look at performances that will align with the theme, that will align with the styling, that will align with the design that we're doing. So once we do that, we will also align the kind of performances that will amplify that event. So what we do is we'll start searching for such artists, or if there is a preference from the client side that I want to work with this kind of an artist or this kind of team or this type of performance, then we scout for them. And once we scout for them, what we do is we finalize on one point contact. It could be the manager of an artist, it could be the manager of a band or a team. And then we start communicating with them about the brief, about what the client has given, what we want to do, and how we want. The second thing is the staging requirement. So once the artist or the performer is finalized, they talk about what is the requirement on stage. So it depends. Like if there is a fire act, they would need some kind of safety that has to be done. They want distance from the displays. They want some information about how the stage is done and everything, so that the rest of the stage doesn't get damaged. How much safety has been taken care, or it could be they needed to fold increase. Some artists say that to perform, the band has to be like if it is a band performance, the place where the drum is being placed has to be elevated at least by 1 feet, so that the drummer is also highlighted. The people get to see the drummer. There are many such things. So staging requirements from the where the positioning, how big the stage. If it is 16 people performance, you would need at least a 30 feet wide stage. So all these things, staging requirements is shared from the performer side. Availability for rehearsals, media attention, and performance. Now, rehearsals are very, very important because the way the performers have trained or they have practice, it could be in their studio. But the real-time performance that happens in front of the crowd on the stage is totally different. They need to do their markings when and how what is going to happen. We also talk about media attention and performance. This could be for bigger artists who, like if I'm doing an Arijit Singh concert or a Sonu Nigam concert or an A.R. Rahman concert in a particular city, then people would want to come to that city. The media would want to capture some bites with him. They would want to talk to him, capture his opinion, capture his performance. So we'll have to plan that. So is it going to happen before the event? If it's going to happen after the event, and how much time? What is the duration? What is so when does the artist have to fly back? So all these things has to be taken care. We have to check the availability. If the artist is doing like he's coming from Delhi to Bangalore for a show and there's hardly any time, so then we have to see if it can be done post show. So all those things has to be meticulously planned and detailed and to be done. So availability of rehearsals, media attention, and performance. Accompanying personnel. So some artists are solo artists. For example, if I'm looking at an A.R. Rahman concert, the artist could be solo, or it could be his entire band, or there could be some people who are accompanying. Could be his photographer, his stylist, or anybody for that matter. So we'll have to make a checklist of all these people, for which there will be a different team who will take care of it. So who takes care of the artist? There are artist management companies or artist management teams who take care of all these people, and they make sure they are comfortable and taken care much before the event itself. And those list of people who are accompanying him is shared much before the event, so that tickets and the travel and logistics are taken care accordingly. Contract and legal requirement. This is very, very, very important. Whatever kind of performance or whatever kind of an artist that you work with, these are the things that would bind you and secure you from any kind of mishaps that happen from the artist side. It could be some artists might have committed to two different events at the same time, or it could be an artist falling sick, or artist meeting with an accident, or if not able to not able to come to an event because of some genuine reasons, or it could be natural calamity, etc., etc. So these legal contracts, bind and give confidence to the artist, to you, and to your client, or if you're doing it as your own show, to your people who are going to view the show. If you're doing a concert, it is kind of securing the interest of the people who have paid thousands of money to attend that concert. So when you have a legal contract signed, so it will bind, it will safeguard your interest in terms of the money that you invested. So these are very, very important. Payment, of course, I'm sure even before the content and everything, you would have spoken to the artist, you would have finalized on the payment. So there could be like at the sign up, or at the time of signing up the artist, you pay 25% or 50% or 100%, depends upon the rapport that you're going to crack with the artist manager or with the artist or the performance team. Or it could be, it completely, it would vary from company to company, artist to artist, team to team, crew to crew, how their rapport is. So that is also an important part of it. Just a glimpse of performers. This could be some performances that are happening, could be a dance team, or could be a musical team that is performing here. Next, let me talk about crew. Now, crew are kind of, in our body, we spoke about heart, which is the stage, and now crew are like nerves in our body. So they are the one that connects all the events. So other than a lot of volunteers, other than a lot of professional technical team who are working to put this event together, there is a large amount of people, they're known as crew, who could be hospitality crew, it could be stage backstage crew, it could be the registration crew, it could be the security crew, it could be the travel desk crew, it could be the logistic crew, it could be anything. People based on their experience, based on their expertise level, are hired across platforms. So, and again on temporary basis, because on an everyday basis, I don't need 100, 150 people to work. I would need only during the time of event. So these people are hired on temporary basis, and they're the people who take care of a lot of things based on their experience, based on the expertise level. So normally you would see them wearing a crew t-shirt or wearing like as we see in the image here, event stuff, and they're always there to help you, whether in terms of safety, security. They're the people who would know what is happening in and around that venue, what is happening on stage, what is happening backstage, everything they would know. They're the people who are designated a certain area, and they're required to perform a certain task. This is also a small thing that I would want to say here. The fastest way for you guys to learn is to be a part of the event team as a crew. You start learning, you start observing. So every time you go to an event, pick up a new task. Probably on a basic level, could be backstage, could be production, could be travel, logistics, or registration. Start with that. Start observing events. This is the best way to learn events or how events happen much faster, other than seeing our videos and the content that has been shared with you. Next, I'm going to talk about hospitality. As the name goes, it refers to the warmly and friendly welcome of the VIPs, the delegates, the guests, etc., etc. So in conferences or bigger government event, what happens is that there are VIPs, there are ministers, there are bureaucrats who are involved. The way we take care of how they are welcomed, how they are taken care of, there will be separate VIP rooms for them where they can come and relax for some time, take some water or juice before they get onto the stage. Or there will be some places where they'll be sitting and relaxing even before they go on to their panel discussion. At the same time, in wedding and social event, what happens is the bride and the groom family, the way they are treated, the way they are welcomed, with the way their guests have been taken care, the way everybody is taken care while they're going back in terms of giving them return gifts and taking care of their cab bookings, their flight tickets, the way they get picked up from the airport to, and how they get welcomed at the hotel. And all these things, that is huge. Today, a wedding industry has a dedicated team in the wedding planner company which takes care of hospitality. And that is one of the biggest tasks, actually. If you see in terms of wedding events or social event, hospitality becomes a very big task. Handling when you have guests or relatives across the world who are coming, and you don't want to get busy with handling them over who's coming at what flight, what time, and when. So when you handle it off to the hospitality team of the wedding planning company, they take care of it meticulously, plan, they make a checklist, follow to the core, to the point, and make sure all your guests are taken care well, and their food and travel, everything are taken care, because As I mentioned, event is an experience, and this also counts as a part of an experience. Next is the most important of the entire lot is the recording of the event. Yes, now we have done like we've done the stage, we have a new selection, the seating is done, the decor is done, the lighting, sound, AV special effect, everything is done. But what we see, can we record it in our eyes? No, not probably. Yes, we can, but it will go into our memories, it will go into our dreams. But then if there is something that I want to show that this is how I did an event, or this is how the event was, how will I do it? The only way is by recording the event through photography or through videography, by placing consoles for that. There could be candid photography. There's a whole system of capturing the event, which has gone to a next level. Well, I'm sure you would have seen it in crickets with a spider cam. Today, there are drones that are being used, candid photography and videography. So these events are recorded for multiple purposes. One is to capture the memories that we have experienced. Second is for the event companies, it can be used as a learning tool where you can start identifying the learning curves that you have identified. It can also be used as a marketing tool. In my previous session and now also I'm showing a lot of videos. See, those videos are today essential so that I can show you as a reference also. It can be used as a marketing tool also, something that we can learn from, and also gives you a good feeling so that even if I would have missed that event, I would want to attend that event by just looking at the video. So recording of the event also plays a very, very important role. I'm sure the details of the technicalities of how to record the event and everything will be discussed in detail when this under equipment section. So I'll just show you the next topic. So before I talk about this topic, green venue design, I would actually call it as an eco-friendly event. What is eco-friendly? What are we? Today we are in the year 2020. We're talking about global warming. We're talking about how to save our earth. A lot of plastic thing that has been used. It has been banned also now. The ecological way in our daily life, it could be the way we live, like we are not using plastic bags today and things like that. But at the same time, it is also the responsibility of the events which form a very, very important part of our society to go green. It plays a very, very important role. It is our conscious effort, it is our conscious mind that kind of forces, or not even force, I would say. It is our responsibility, it is our duty to make sure that going forward, all the events, or anywhere possible, that we maintain that ecological or the green design concept there. As simple as, for example, a few of our events that we are doing, we've stopped using plastic bottles for water. Instead, what we do is with them glass bottles, and we place multiple refill stacks so people can go refill. So, and in an event, if I'm talking about 3,000 people attending, and if you're giving half-liter bottles, 3,000, and everybody would consume at least two, you're talking about 6,000 plastic bottles saved in just one event. And now, if I say apply that across hundreds of events that is happening in our country, can you imagine the number? Yes. So this is where the future. So a lot of companies today have understood the importance of it. Very, very small thing in terms of banning use of flex today because it's plastic, because thousands and thousands of square feet of flex is printed for every event. So each of this small part, plays a very, very important role towards saving our earth. So being eco-friendly in simple words can be explained as being kind to our Mother Earth by using products that apply practices that do not harm the environment. Not only the environment, it could be the plastic which is thrown is consumed by animals, and again they tend to fall sick or they die because of that. While most of the events that we have planned are set according to the theme. Now, when we plan the theme, we can also think about using some eco-friendly products. So, for example, if I'm doing a village setup, I can use a lot of gunny sack. I can use a lot of material that has been done through jute or fabric instead of using plastic. I can print on jute fabric instead of printing on flex. So these are the things that we can start thinking at the time of theming and event design. This green venue design or the the eco-friendly way of doing event might sound very, very complex. How do we think? Is it so complicated? We already have ready-made stuff that's available in the market. Why should we think out of the box and things like that? No, it is just 1 or 2 events. Once you get used to it, once you start looking in that direction, I'm sure you will get more clarity as to how an eco-friendly event can be done. Few of the elements that we can follow is venue locations. Now, if venue location is something which is a forest or something, think before you finalize such location. The venue that you select, don't go ahead and start cutting trees or anything. Look for venue which is already ready, or it is something if you can build around that venue. Without harming the ecosystem of that particular venue. It could be in terms of grass, it could be in terms of the plants, the trees that has already been grown. So think the ecological way while you're selecting the venue. Second, hoardings. As the name goes, hoardings, it could be the invitations, it could be the promotions, it could be the marketing material that we use to promote an event. Think about an eco-friendly paper that we're going to use. Think about papers or the material that we can apply, which can be reused or recycled. Not using plastics or things that we use just one time and discarded. So that is the second point. Reduce the use of flowers. So when I say reduce the use of flowers, I'm not saying that don't use flowers at all. Use think logically. Think about flowers that grow in that region, so that you can bring that flowers from that from that farm to your location quickly, reducing the carbon print. Instead of getting exotic flowers from some other country like Austria, Switzerland, etc., which increases the carbon footprint, which also makes deep hole in your pockets too. But at the same time, using our Indian flowers, so using flowers that has been tulips or could be anything that grows in and around our place, or not, or could be in the region, which would be easier for you to transport, or quicker for you to get. And I think it's really like you'll get more fresh flowers rather than getting something from a different country, which would take 2-3 days to arrive, plus the carbon footprints, etc. So think beyond the design. Think about that region. Make sure your theme that you design or plan has an amalgamation of regional flavors. Next is simple decor. Sometimes simple is classy, they say. Being simple is classy. This is a saying that we have heard a lot of times during the recent events. Because today everybody want to keep it very minimalistic, at the same time look very, very classy. So thinking about it, as I mentioned, using gunny sack, could be using bamboo. There has been centuries ago, people might be using bamboo for stage, trussing, and etc. Then that went, and today we're going back to it actually. Innovative ways of using bamboo or using old furniture, etc. Using retro furniture. So simple decor, which is already available in the market. You don't have to create new. So renting it out might work out cheaper. And at the same time, creating something from trees or something which again, don't cut new trees, which is already available, that is fallen off, or using twigs, to create. In my previous session, I also showed about a winterland theme where twigs of a broken tree has been used. It is painted well. So like that, we can think about some out of the box ideas. Rent what is required. So when you take up a big venue, think like if you're having 500 guests, you like a morning marriage can happen in the main function of the wedding can happen in one location, the reception in another location, and everything. So think about the transport that is going to happen. Think about the amount of electricity, etc., that has been consumed. So if your function is something that is happening in the morning and the evening, think of a theme that can immediately change over within few hours and use one location only. The look and feel of the location can change with decor depending upon the time required to change the decor. But it is wise to think in that way. Or when you're planning, when you're theming, that's when you can think about such details. Crockery and cutlery. So these also play a very, very important role. A lot of events that we see use of plastic spoons, plastic cutlery, etc., etc. Stop using that. Rather, what we can use ceramic plates. I'm sure the banquets and the hotels that we do, they have ceramic plates and spoons and everything that they keep. But the same today we have spoken about, on South Indian weddings, you see the banana leaf, which is so it's so eco-friendly. But the banana leaf is then ended with a bottle of plastic bottled water and then a cup ice cream, which is giving a plastic a spoon and a plastic cup. Well, that kills the entire purpose. Rather, you can look at things today made out of, banana plantation barks, which has been done, which is very eco-friendly, which would compose with the nature probably in a few months' time. So look for such cutleries, look for such giveaways. so that you are a part of that mission that we are, which everybody is working towards, is having a greener earth and eco-friendly products that we're using. So this is also our my humble request, and something that I would say this trend has picked up. Each and every person, I would say, especially the youth or people who have seen the world a little more than what I or you would have seen, have understood the value of the diversity and ecological things that we have around us. And it is more than necessary today for us to, save those or retain those for the future. So with this, before I end my session, I just would want to show you a few images. The first image is about Echoes of Earth Festival. Please do look up for this festival on YouTube. It happens every year in Bangalore. It's one of my inspiring events that I attend, where most of the things are created from recycled products. If you see the name itself, Echoes, the first thing is of a recycled metal thing that has been done, and then recycled cloth, and then hay, which is the grass, the dry grass that has been done. So they've used it, all natural products or recycled product that they use. Just below that, you see there is a small stall setup in which the table and everything is done using cardboard. Can you just imagine, instead of using plastic table, etc., etc., they've used recycled cardboard to create that table. The third image that you see is the kind of cutlery, the plate, the spoons, and everything that has been used for an event. The table also has been set in such a way with small pots and things that you find in and around that venue or house. So this is a good example of how, and I'm sure that thousands and thousands of ways of making your event more eco-friendly. Um, and I would also would want to highlight upon one point that today people are creating events, curating, rather than say curating events that are more sensitive towards our ecological, towards our nature. So they're creating such events, and a large and large amount of people are going and attending such events, are being part of that event, and that's how all information about these things are getting shared. So with this, we come to an end of staging of events. We also come to the end of the session of a green venue design, or I would say eco-friendly way of doing events. But before I go, or before I sign off, I'd like to show you a small video, and I'm sure you all would enjoy, and hopefully you would want to be a part of this event too. Allow me to share the video.
It's like I have this feeling, and then I look around and I see people gathering. Some are even holding hands. It's not because of where they're from or who they believe in, but I guess they're tied together. Something else. I don't know, maybe it's something about the attitude.
How was the video? I'm sure each and every one of you would have loved this video. This is the Blooming Green Festival, courtesy YouTube, where we have taken this video from. Blooming Green Festival that happened in Agumbe, which is completely an eco-friendly event. I'm sure in the video you would have seen the experience was also very similar to that. With this, I'm ending my session today. In case you have any doubts, please feel free to write to us. I hope this video has inspired, and I hope this session inspires you to dwell more into details of what we have discussed. Please refer to all the topics or the elements that I have discussed. Go on to YouTube, do your research, and you will get more clarity to understand the concept better. And also be a part of few events as crew or as a volunteer to get a hands-on experience of what happens in the world of events. Thank you all. Signing off, Pradeep Nayak.